Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to talk about all the shows, films, documentaries released on streaming this past week. Give us our best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. And of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out this week so you too can create your very own watch list. Joining us as always, obviously he's ready for his football season, got his Commander's cap on, new ownership, new hope. We like it, of course. Es Señor Jaime, aka Chewy, what it is, what it was.
We're still undefeated.
We're still undefeated, baby. So you're right. Making a run, baby, making a run. Who knows? New season, new glory. This new ownership. That's all I care about. We can win one game. I'm fine. I don't care. There's hope back for the team as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for Williams.
At least
Thank
now
you for Williams.
Well, Arizona may get that one. But wait, so we're a couple weeks away from the NFL. Very excited, of course. A week or so, more or less, for fantasy drafts, unless yours has
Just
gone
about
already.
under a week. Yep.
A lot of teams draft so already. Whatever, too soon, but fair enough. That being said, Chewy, not a big week. Next week's not a big week, but I think in 2 weeks is a bigger week. I don't know. We'll get to all that later. So let's get to it, Chewy. A lot of interesting stuff this week. We'll start with the documentaries. I was going to start with a couple of films, but let's be honest, I didn't want to watch them, and I couldn't. I wasn't invited to Adam Sandler's bar mitzvah, so he can kiss my ass. I'm not watching that.
And you didn't watch it? I heard it was funny.
I kind of did. I started watching a little bit, and my wife looked at each other like,
Oh, that bad?
I would say it was bad. Just I don't know. It's just it seemed like very. Well, it wasn't that age demographic. You know, this is not like a true Adam Sandler film. He's in it, but
No.
Yeah, I think his daughters are playing.
I just wanted to know. Other thing. I didn't want to watch it, but I wanted to know if they brought back the band from the wedding singer to sing at the whole.
You're right. I did hear good things about that, but I'm like, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Whatever.
That's okay.
If you guys watched it, you
fine.
enjoyed it, great. Let us know if it's good or not. I just couldn't bring myself to it. So that being said, we'll start with the documentary. Of course, that's Wanted: The Escape of Carlos Ghosn, right? If I'm saying it right. This one here was on the Apple Plus, dropping it's 4-episode docu-series. What this infamous story, which really happened back in the crux of it back in 2018, 19, 20, so it's very recent, even currently. Carlos Ghosn was the CEO, took over Renault, of course, the car manufacturer in France when they were in the dumps, brought them back to prominence, I guess. Took over Nissan, which was in the dumps back in the 90s, brought it back to prominence, I guess. And I guess there was a conspiracy theory out there, according to him, that the Japanese were kind to outsiders. Didn't want him in the picture, merging the companies at some point. They had him arrested for potential, I guess, money scam or hiding money or whatever the case is, funds mismanagement. And, at some point he got arrested a couple of times. He got on bail in the trial, wasn't allowed to see his wife. So he decided to plan an escape, almost a Mission Impossible escape, which was covered big back then. I didn't even realize this, to be honest with you. And of course, the story goes on whether he's in Beirut, which is where he's at, hiding out basically, not facing justice, right or wrong. I don't know if he did something bad. That's not really clear. A lot of theories out there.
Well, after watching a couple episodes, first 2 episodes, it like I said, I don't know Japanese law, but he wasn't, at least initially, I haven't finished the season, but he was not accused of embezzlement or fraud. So, so what exactly he did that was illegal is not really illegal per se.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that because my wife started watching and she got into it, particularly when the third episode is the escape episode. That's when it picks. I know this was a 3-episode run. The first 2 couldn't be combined into one. Then got into the meat of it was the escape, which is really cool. And then the end kind of wrapped things up and talked more about stuff that he did that may be considered illegal at that point on the 4th episode.
Okay.
Before then, stuff. I think he just mismanaged funds, like he's using money to parties and stuff like that.
He wasn't even accused of that.
But that was
it was all based on a whole salary dispute or proposed. I guess in Japan, you're not allowed to make above a certain amount, or it's frowned upon. And obviously, Japanese culture is a little different.
Yeah, they talk about a lot of those things. But either way, guilt or innocent, who knows? But there's a couple of things that are really effed up on Ghosn's part, which makes me not side with him, particularly after the escape occurs. I don't want to spoil the escape, but that's actually pretty cool. It was like a movie. I was like, oh man. It's something you see exactly in the film. I was like, this is pretty interesting. I can't believe they actually pulled that off. It was fascinating. That was really cool. I liked that a lot. But like I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was 1 episode too long. That being said, it's recent. It's something I really didn't know about. But once it gets into the meat of it, oh wow, that's fascinating. The whole Escape and how it was covered and all that. That's interesting guy. He looks like a dirtbag though. Don't get me wrong. Listen, he's a CEO of a big company. Do the math. Come on, bro. Let's be honest.
Look, man. I mean,
Odds are, I'm sure
we've seen many CEOs a la Enron who, were really crooks and criminals and engaged in criminal behavior.
No doubt.
To enrich and line their pocket.
No doubt.
Which is why I don't think he's any different. I have no. Well, I mean, he's different because he didn't tank the company to benefit his own pocket.
No, obviously not.
So there's a big difference, right? Whether he embezzled funds, I haven't gotten there yet, but at least for the first episode, there was nothing I see.
Right, they do.
You make money, spend money. So be it, man. Have lavish parties, whatever.
Because they brought up the whole thing about him taking funds and he was using them to throw his parties out, vacations. Listen, he's just taking funds and maybe not using them correctly. That's not a crime. You can fire him for that. That's fair. It's
correct.
Not a crime per se, but there's other stuff that gets brought up later, in the last episode, that do reflect. Okay, there is some crime going on here. Whether it's true or not, or whatever allegations, but there's a lot there to go into. It's like,
okay, I mean, when you pump the books, that's a crime.
Well,
right?
Agreed. And that's stuff that happened, particularly on the French side. Renault got involved afterwards, and this is just Japanese. Then Renault got involved, and they discovered more stuff that Japanese hadn't had. Maybe they did.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, it's very interesting. I talked to the people who ex-Green Berets who actually helped him escape the Japan and all that. Yeah. Very fascinating. It's very cool. That was very cool. So it's a good watch. The first episode is a lot and unnecessary, but once you get into past that, it's a good watch on Apple Plus. Chewy, this is all you here. It's on MGM. This is I think someone else subscribes. I think it's back to 8 people subscribing to MGM Plus. So I'm very happy for MGM. They're on the come. So good for you guys. That's the Winter King. This one, as far as I know, is I guess a grounded retelling of King Arthur. I guess Chewy, your thoughts on this one, because I have no clue.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I don't know if retelling. I mean, maybe it's not more
a-telling or whatever. I don't
know. A-telling of the myth of King Arthur, right? Because the versions we've seen in movies is you think of King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, and it's romanticized, but not really. Is it based on history? Is it based on a combination of characters, or is it just complete fiction? So I think this kind of puts a grounded spin on this tale, on this history, because it's obviously based on some pieces of history and whatnot. So it's actually, I've only seen one episode. They don't drop more than one after most of their shows.
So they're dropping one a week. Is that what it is?
Yeah, a weekly drop. Yes, correct. No, it's pretty good, man. It's very good. Look, swords and sandals type era history. And if you're interested in the lore and the story behind it, that's I love a good docudrama history type show. Yeah. And MGM has a number of these, right? I mean, a la The Godfather Harlem,
which
right?
is great. That's
dramatized history, right? Mm-hmm. 50s and 60s. We'd have Domina, which is based on the Augustus Caesar time reign in Italy. They have one on Billy the Kid, so this is their bread and butter type show focus genre they focus on.
Nice. Okay, yeah. This one, if it ends up ending good, I might get one of those free trial runs and all that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Hulu, because Hulu did pick up Godfather Harlem, which is such a great show. Maybe something like this happens again. We'll see. Again, Winter King on Sundays every week on the MGM Plus. This next one again is all you. I never got into the show. Ragnarök on Netflix, dropping its third season. This is more it's historical is not the right word, but it's mythology, Norse mythology, right? And there you go.
Pure is a pure fantasy play, right?
Right, yeah.
But with the presumption that the gods are real, right, in some fashion, or the history of the gods, right? That's like the mythology, and so they're reincarnated on Earth through various individuals, right? So we get the Thor, the Odin, the Loki. The Freya character, and obviously Norse mythology is based on the gods versus the giants on Earth. So, and so they interlude each episode with a little bit of the Norse mythology, and that kind of lays out the groundwork for each episode. Like I said, it's a fun watch. It's enjoyable. I watch it dubbed because sometimes I get tired of reading.
This is a Nordic show, I guess. So appropriately.
Norwegian show.
I guess it. I mean, I assume it is.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think this is did I say it right? Third season?
This is the 13th,
Okay.
yeah, season. It's just a 6 episode season, so it's not that much of an investment for me to go back and watch it. But it's obviously it's not heavy on when I say fantasy, but it's not heavy on CGI or effects,
Right.
right? I mean, it's got some pieces, but it's not meant to be a DC Marvel type green screen type show.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess I never. I don't know, for whatever reason, all that. This next one here is one I kind of didn't want to see, but I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Anyway, Disney Plus, that says it already. And Disney Plus buy everywhere from the beginning. But we got Ahsoka dropping 2
Here we
episodes
go.
weekly after, of course, in Star Wars series based on the character from Rebels and Clone Wars, if you're familiar with that. This one here, pretty much, if you're familiar with Rebels, the animated show is almost a sequel, continuation of that to some degree. The same characters, Chopper and Sabine, etc.
Take him to the chopper.
So this one here, I'll get your thoughts first. I'm sure you.
Well, I haven't had a chance to see what you and Eric said on
Okay.
Nerd Explain.
Go ahead.
So
I
haven't been tainted.
Wait, I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. Maybe I love this show. Maybe I hate it. I'm not saying a word. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm not. I just see your face and your reaction.
I got a poker face, so I'm gonna have aces here. You didn't know that. You know that might
You're
go.
playing
I'm gonna go over the top in a
dude,
second when you put in a little small mid race. Go ahead as far as your thoughts on this one, because this is Star Wars has been consistent, putting it mildly, right? In terms of the shows, just everything of the last since they took over from Disney. A lot of inconsistency with Star Wars. Some good, some trash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mandalorian good, House of Boba Fett, Kenobi not so much.
Andor was good.
Andor very good.
The films inconsistent,
not so much.
Right, if I'm even less consistent. But either way, so how was this? How did this one play out for you? The first 2 episodes.
So I enjoyed it actually. I enjoyed and so the problem is, you have to balance between those that are casual fans and may know about Ahsoka, because we've seen Ahsoka come up in one episode of Mandalorian, one episode of Boba Fett. Probably the best episode of Boba Fett because it didn't have Boba Fett.
Right. Go figure.
Exactly. It was Mandalorian 2.5. Yeah. At least for those 2 or 3 episodes, which are pretty good. The rest, nah. But I saw Rebels, so I know a little bit of so I'm familiar with the Ezra characters and who these characters are, right? So I'm not coming at it cold. But I would say, most are probably, the casual fan is like may know Ahsoka, but may not know much of the rest of this team or their history within Star Wars, right? Because they came in between 5 years before, so 5 years after Kenobi, 5 years before the first Star Wars movie. So it went from 5 years to like 1 year before. So about a 4 year period before A New Hope. But it was obviously it's animation, so how many people watch animation? Whatever. But so the hardcore fan knows about this. The non-hardcore maybe not so much. So they have to spend a fair amount of time with exposition and kind of filling in the gaps of who the characters are and why they care and why they're sad and what's going on, the whole Thrawn thing, but I think once you get over that first hump and actually had like a crawl, right, to kind of bring people into what was going on, kind of set the table per se in a short, condensed way. I enjoyed it, right? I knew about the history and I've seen a lot of these shows and characters. I enjoyed it. Fight scenes were good. Some unique moves there and stuff. They're very cool, right? The Balon, that Jedi. I'm not sure if he's Sith or Dark Jedi. I'll call him Dark Jedi. I'm not sure if he's Sith. He's great, man.
He's the best part, and we had to. It's the first thing we said, and we'll talk about it.
And it sucks that he actually passed away. Because he was Ray Stevenson, I believe, was his name. We've seen him, and he was Thor, one of his friends. We've seen him in G.I. Joe. We've seen him in lots of different movies and things. So he played one of the best characters, at least through the first 2 episodes. So hopefully, let's see what happens, right? Whether he dies or whatever. But they passed away, unfortunately. But no, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good first 2 episodes. Good setup. two of eight. Let's see how this progresses, where this is going to progress. I mean, ultimately, we know, this is before Force Awakens,
of course.
So,
before anything, before New Hope, and you meant, or
no. This is all. Now we're still in Mandalorian era, so we're 10-12 years
right.
after.
Yeah, my bad. I was thinking Rebels.
Yeah, we're 11-12 years after
correct,
A New Hope, right? So this is going parallel with Mandalorian, right? So and I wish we could just get rid of Force Awakens. They say chop it off, start over. So they have free reign.
Well, I know they're stuck in their own shit. Look. This show is exactly what Star Wars is, inconsistent, right? There's some really cool shit in here. You mentioned Balin, right? I thought he's great. He's really good. And there's some not some favorable things on the show. It's up and down. I thought it was fine. I was entertained. I didn't hate it. It's better than Boba Fett and Obi-Wan so far. Disney historically, their shows tend to trend down per episode, so I'm concerned about that. Let's see, but it was fine. Listen, it was fine. I haven't, as far as I can mention this, I don't know, I haven't talked to anybody who has not seen Rebels to see how they feel. Because we know these characters, right? We're vested in them and all that. Some of the continuation Rebels, so we're familiar with what's going on. If you haven't seen it, I don't know how it will play for someone who's not familiar with it. I don't know.
It's one thing if we've seen these characters in another live action iteration, right? But the whole history of them, it comes from the animation world, it comes from Dave Filoni's work. So the casual fan, do they know who they are, what the whole story is? I don't know. I would suspect no.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how it will play for them. I can't answer that. I haven't. So I don't know. I've seen Rebels. It's fine. Listen, the CGI is still off. The whole volume thing, I'm not a big fan of. Because you're limited to what you can do with the camera. So it plays out more like an animated show in real life and not live action. It's okay. It's funny because me and Eric both agree that Ahsoka, who's the main character, wasn't the least likable of characters, which is kind of odd, because she comes out very unlikable, unlike her first appearance and the first couple of appearances. It's strange that decision is like, well, if you like the main character, why am I watching this show? And we talked about, okay, maybe they did it on purpose so they can circumvent and give her an arc, and now she's the way we know, which is kind of a cheat. We know how she is. Don't downplay her just to bring her back up later, just to create this false sense of an arc. So I don't know. She came out very unlikable. She came like a pain in the ass. It really is. So it was weird, but there's some good stuff in here. It's fine. Again, it's not great, right? I'm not gonna say it's a great Star Wars show. I don't think it is, and it's not. But it's okay. It's fine. But I am curious to see how people who haven't seen Rebels react to the show, because I honestly. That could have an effect, right? A negative effect on them. I don't know. Potentially, if they don't know what's going on, they're like, whatever. It's hard to follow if you're not familiar with what happened to Rebels and all that. So I get it. But if you are, I think it's definitely meant for those who have seen Rebels, who are familiar with the lore, for sure. Not a bad watch. It's actually that was decent. Inconsistent. Whatever. It is what it is. It's Disney. That's how they do. This next one here, Apple Plus. Now this one I would probably shit on, big time. But I'm not going to shit on this show because I didn't watch it, because I don't watch this show. And that's, of course, Invasion. Of course, the Alien Invasion show minus the aliens on Apple Plus. So whatever. Chewie Season 2 kicked off. How was it? Did we get aliens finally in this? Did we finally show aliens?
We got lots of aliens now. Now we actually have an invasion.
Wow,
so
it's a miracle.
This is what we should have seen season 1. Right off the bat, they don't stick around.
It's
we got a new ship. We see aliens attacking humans in full breath. We see we get exposition on where the war is now. 4 months later after the new ship shows up. We have a crash ship and more alien technology and alien interaction within that ship. So it's pretty interesting. So this is the show I was expecting season 1. So a season later, finally.
Jesus, what time? Go figure. I mean, how many episodes?
I don't know. It might be 10.
No, but how many dropped? I'm sorry.
Just one episode.
Oh,
one episode.
We're only doing the one.
Yeah.
Oh, so this could be just a bait and switch. So if you've seen 2 or 3, tell me that. I'm just saying it's possible it goes back to status quo next few episodes.
Yeah, okay.
They'll probably give you one to suck you in. This show was the infamous bait and switch show. Not only with the aliens, non-aliens, but Sam Neill and Sam Neill, for example. And they're not the only show to do that. There's other shows that have done that, but committed that crime. But they're the most prominent ones, I think. So all right, that's it. I've heard. I guess it's one episode, so it's hard to judge. I am curious though. I guess if you're fans of the show, whatever. But I mean, if you want a good alien invasion show, there's nothing one to watch. I'll tell you right now. At least not from the first season.
I would say skip season 1 and go season 2. To be honest with you, start with season 2. I mean, just you can watch the recap in season 1. Just go season 2.
Potentially, I'm this one where if this alien is consistent, I'm saying every episode has to be that. It doesn't, obviously. But if you get some of that, then I may jump back in. Sure, you can let me know after 3 or 4 episodes to get a gauge. I don't know, like, because you're right. This is probably a show you probably skip the first season. I recommend skipping it anyway. Jump into season 2 because whatever. But let's see. So okay, whatever. Buy everywhere on that one. This last one here on Netflix. Who is Erin Carter? This one here is, your classic cookie cutter kind of action thriller, somewhat that Netflix has done many times before. This one here, Erin Carter, she's, single mom at the beginning of the show, has to escape for some whatever reason, ends up living new life in Barcelona, Spain, of course. She's married now, kids older, obviously, living her life. And one day they're at a supermarket, a couple of thieves come in, hold up at gunpoint. She manages to kill one of them, and that now opens up the dam as far as her past coming through and who she really was, and the violence in her past, and et cetera, people coming after her, et cetera, et cetera. Chewy, your thoughts on this? I think it's a limited series. It's 1 season, 7-episode run, if I'm not mistaken. Chewy, your thoughts on this one?
No, it's okay. Like I said, not great, not terrible. Just middle of the road, tropey type of pseudo spy thriller type background. I assume that's what she is. I mean, she's definitely very skilled at killing people.
Yeah. The history, it would allude to her being.
She has training because I mean, she knows weapons, she knows knives, so she fights. It's okay. I mean, like I said, nothing unique. Maybe the story, but it's. I think, like I said, this was similar to what we saw before. I can't remember the name of that other one. And maybe because it was so middle of the road, we can't even remember the name of one that's similar, where we had a similar female-led character who was an ex-spy, lost her memory. I think she lose her memory, or I think
her daughter. Not lose memory. Whatever. I don't know exactly what show you're talking about. I can't think of it, but yeah, it's like I said. This is it's your classic filler kind of show, right? When we mean by filler, is a show that, and we're not going to recommend say go watch who is Erin Carter, but if you got nothing else to watch. Fine, and not everybody has all the streaming services, right? 8 people only have MGM Plus, that's not in the picture, but you may only have Netflix and HBO, whatever. In that case, you're looking for something to watch. Fine. It's just it's very, like I said, cookie cutter. It's run of the mill. We've seen 1,000 times. Nothing really sticks out special about it. I'm not gonna say it's a bad show. I don't think it is personally, but it's not a great show. If you're into this genre, okay. It's fine. Again, classic filler. You got nothing else to watch, which I find hard to believe, but it's possible maybe you caught up on all your shows. Or again, you're limited to the streaming services you have. This is one you may want to add just to fit in the time to something else, and to whatever show you're looking forward to comes out. You get something to watch in the meantime. Mm-hmm. But nothing really to write home about. So that's kind of where that show's at. I can't say I'm really surprised given Netflix history. Right, exactly. So that's it for this week. It's not a huge week. Next week's not a big week. We got the holiday weekend coming up, so I'm not surprised not releasing a whole lot. So let's get into that, Chewy. Let's start with the first one here on Netflix. Miss Adrenaline, A Tale of Twins. I guess is when a twin died, one takes her place. Is a competitive cyclist and tries to figure out how she died or something along those lines. This one, speaking of who is Erin Carter, kind of fits into that mold, right? I can
a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like that. So whatever. I guess it's light week.
It's a Spanish show. So,
it's a Spanish show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another one, actually, I'm looking forward to. That's on Netflix on the 31st. That's One Piece, based on a very popular manga back. I forget how many years ago it was, but I heard good things about it in terms of the manga and not the show. It looks interesting. I mean, I don't know. It looks good fantasy kind of thing. I mean,
I think so. I mean, this was one of the big, before the strike was going to be a big centerpiece for Comic-Con, right? They had the posters, had everything going on the panels, and obviously everything got squaddooshed.
Yeah, this will be very popular, I think.
There's a big following. I'm not, when you say manga, I'm like, I don't know what that means, but whatever. Yeah, I know anime, but not really.
It's almost like an anime, but in written form. I guess would be the way to say it.
Okay, thank you. So there is definitely a big cult-like following for this IP. So I'd say I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
I like
it's
good
cool. I
fantasy.
mean, Netflix is those okay with these. They got now that they're developing, they're finishing up the last Airbender that's coming out live, which should be
Yes, I like
that
to
one.
make up for
Yeah,
the movie.
that one's gonna be big. That's gonna be a big
See,
success.
to make up for it, because there's actually an animated series which is pretty good.
It is actually. It's not bad.
From what I hear.
It is actually. I've seen some of it. It's actually not bad. So this is a Netflix wheelhouse. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next one here, the first, it's Wheel of Time on Amazon. Season 2. Season 1 is this is a kind of Lord of the Ring-esque kind of show, fantasy, back in time, wizards and magic and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's your bag, of course. Season 1 was okay. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. Pacing was off. Hopefully season 2 change. Hopefully season 2 gives us an invasion-like change, maybe. I don't know. According to Chewie anyway, so I'm not sure. And then I don't watch. I know Chewie does on the same day as Disenchantment.
Yeah,
it's a funny show. Yeah, it's a kind of like a Simpsons-esque fairy tale.
Yeah. Groening is the creator, artist, voice. So this is the last season. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it with my son for a previous 3 years, or however long it's been out. Previous 3 seasons. So like I said, it's very, very Simpsons, Futurama-esque.
Yeah, that kind of humor. Exactly. Yeah.
Animation style. So you'll see some of the similarities. And again, it's very, very unique, and it's it's weird characters that you can enjoy, and I've enjoyed it for this much. And too bad it's got to end, but everything comes to an end eventually.
No, exactly. So yeah, but not a lot on that end. So, but that being said, there are shows currently going on, whether it be Foundation, of course, Apple Plus. Shelters, actually, like the last episode, so I'm warming up more and more on Amazon as well. HBO still got Winning Time, of course. Dark Winds, I think, was finishing up its season next week.
Already?
I believe so. Yeah. I saw
about 3 episodes.
No, it's like 5 or I think it's 6.
Has it?
I'm pretty sure.
I must be losing track. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's 5 because I saw it yesterday, and I think it said on the final episode of the scenes coming up, whatever I heard final. Maybe I misheard, I don't know, but either way, but that show, Dark Wind's a good show to get started as well. A lot of stuff out there to watch and all that. You don't have to watch who is Erin Carter. That's a good filler show, but there's other stuff to watch ahead of that. Trust me. Whatever. Just saying. But that being said, we'll be back here next week for Labor Day spectacular. Well, maybe not. I'm exaggerating, but whatever. We'll get as we draw yet another week closer to football season. At that point, and closer to our drafts. I think one of our drafts. Oh no, I had one occur before then. But that being said, of course, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.
Peace.